All right, let's do solving problems involving more than one right triangle. Okay, so here's kind of the steps you can go through. Make sure you identify all the right angle triangles, and then determine how many triangles are related, common sides, angle, related sides, and determine which triangle has the most given information, and solve for an angle or a side that will relate the triangles together. Okay, so to kind of sum it all up, first of all, look and see if there's any angles we can see right now. And this one, I'm not seeing that. Okay, now it said find AD, so always know what you're trying to find. This here will be our unknown, our x. Okay, now the reason we just can't go and do that one is because we only have an angle. That's it. But if we can get this side over here, we can call that y, then I would have a side which would be the side perpendicular to the base. Then I could solve for x with using opposite over hypotenuse, right? Sine. Okay, so let's first, what we're going to do is we're going to deal with this triangle here. Okay, so let's deal with this triangle here. Okay, so we know one side and we know one angle. So the way we're going to look at this is, here's my angle, so this is opposite. That would be adjacent, that's hypotenuse. Okay, so what I don't care about is the opposite in this case. I just care about the adjacent and the hypotenuse. So that's cos. So to solve for y, so we're going to solve for y. We have cos theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, so let's fill in the stuff we know. Cos 30 degrees equals 18 over y. Okay, now these two can trade places, so then we would get y equals 18 over cos 30 degrees, and you will get y to equal 20.7846. Now we don't want to round because then it will affect our final answer too much, because if we round here and then we round again for our other answer, we would be rounding way too much. We'd lose too much information. So after we have that, because this is right now this. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of this h right now because I'm talking about my new triangle. And this is going to be my new triangle. And I know from this angle, the 40 degrees, this is the only one I can draw an arrow to, so that is my opposite. And I am looking for x, which is my hypotenuse. Okay, so I'm going to use sine. So we're going to solve for x, which is AD. So then sine theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. Let's fill in everything. Sine 40 degrees equals opposite is now 20.7846 over hypotenuse. That's my x. Okay, and that's over 1. Again, these two can trade. So x would equal 20.7486 all over sine 40 degrees. And that would give us the answer of x equals 32.34 meters. And this was meters here too. Okay, keep going here. Find HI to 2 decimal places. Okay, HI. So if I get my highlighter here, I am finding this. Okay. Okay, so that's HI. So right away, if I want, I can call that X. Now, before you do anything, we want to see if we can find out any angles. Is there anything we have missing? Okay, no, I don't think anything's missing. We can't find this or this yet by just looking at the angle. Now, why can't I just go and solve for X? You know, a triangle there, I got the 27. Okay, because I don't know this angle. This angle would be very nice to get. Okay, how am I supposed to get that? Well, we know that these 3 angles, 1, 2, 3, must add up to 180 degrees. So, if I know this one, I could add it to 95. I could subtract from 180, and I will get this one. So how am I going to get this angle? Well, let's label our triangle first of all. That's opposite. This would be adjacent. This is hypotenuse. Okay? So I'm trying to find that angle, and I will use opposite over adjacent, which is tan. So that is tan theta equals opposite over adjacent. Tan theta equals opposite is 23 over 14. Now remember, if you're trying to find an angle, you have to go second tan, which will give you that, and then you just put the 23 over 14, and you will get 58.67 degrees. Now, I know this angle. So if I add that to 95, and then subtract from 180, I'll get that little angle right here. And if I have that angle right here, then I am good to go to find this. So what is that angle right there? Well, let's go 180 minus 95 plus 58.67, and I would get 26.32 degrees. Okay, so this would be 26.32 degrees. Now to find my X, well, that is opposite. That would be adjacent. And the hypotenuse I don't care about. So I will use tan again. Okay, so let's just kind of, for a second, I will go tan theta equals opposite over adjacent. Tan 26.32 degrees equals the opposite is X, and adjacent is 27. Okay, now this can just come up here, so it'll be 27 times tan 26.32, and that will equal 13.36 kilometers. Okay, let's move on to number 3. Find km to 2 decimal places. Okay, now km is going to be the combination of this plus this, right? So we know what we're looking for. We are looking for all of this. So can we find any angles? Well, we can kind of do a couple things. I mean, if we wanted to, we know that this is 90. This is 52. So if we added those together, we could find this angle. Therefore, we would know this angle. And then I know that this angle plus 90 minus 180 would equal this angle. But a faster way to do it all is this angle plus this angle plus this angle has to equal 180. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's a right angle triangle or not. The three angles equal 180. So let's just take 180 minus this minus this. So if we go 180 minus 105 minus 52, we would get 23 degrees. So this is 23 degrees. So now, how can I find, well, I've got this triangle right here. And I am looking for this is opposite, this is adjacent, this is hypotenuse. So I am looking for the adjacent. So that is tan. So I would go tan theta equals opposite over adjacent. Now let's fill our stuff in. Tan 23 degrees equals 17 over x. And this is over 1, right? These two will trade. X equals 17 times tan 23 degrees, and you will get 40.05 millimeters. Okay. Now, let's find out the blue. Okay. So, if we call this x, okay, then we could say x equals. Let's call this one y, and we'll do the blue triangle in blue. So now, that's opposite, that's adjacent, so I would use tan again. Okay, tan theta equals opposite over adjacent. Tan 52 degrees equals, the opposite is 17 millimeters. The adjacent is y. So if we switch these two, y equals 17 times tan 52 degrees. Okay, and if we do that, we will get y to equal 13.28 millimeters. So now we just have to add the two together, and we will get 53.33 millimeters. Okay, number 4. From a window of one building, Sam finds the angle of elevation to the top of the second building is 41 degrees. The angle of depression is 54. The buildings are 56 meters apart. Find the height of the second building. Okay, so we would have two buildings going. Okay, where's my little shape thing? Okay, I'm going to do, so I got this building. Okay, and then let's say we got this building. Okay, now let's say Sam is right here. Let's do it in red. Blue doesn't show up very good. Okay, so there's like a window here, and Sam's right there. Okay? Here, let's put a door. A few windows. Okay, so Sam is standing at the window, and he finds at the top of the building, okay, he has an angle of inclination of 41 degrees. To look at the bottom of the building, he has an angle of depression of 54 degrees. And he is 56 meters away from the building. The question is, how do you find the height of the building? Okay, so you would do that part as x, right here to here. Do this part as y, and then add the two together. Okay, so let's do the blue one. Now, I am looking for opposite. I know adjacent, and hypotenuse has nothing to do with this. So tan theta equals opposite over adjacent. Tan 41 degrees equals opposite is x. Adjacent is 56. So we just have to bring that up here. So 56 times tan 41 degrees equals 48.680 meters. Okay, now let's do the red part. Okay, so from angle depression. Now again, we're looking for opposite, which is y. We know adjacent is 56. So tan 56. Oops, I should be doing my formula first. Tan theta equals opposite over adjacent. Tan 54 degrees equals y over 56. We can go 56 times tan 54 equals y, and that would equal 77.077. Okay, meters. So again, adding them together, I would get 126 meters. Okay. Now the next one, two towers are 300 meters apart. I'm going to kind of skip that one and go to this one here. Okay. So say you've got a helicopter and the helicopter sees the police car at an angle of 40 degrees to the ground and sees the car chasing away at 20 meters to the ground. How would we find out the distance between them? So how would we find this distance? Okay. Well, the trick is we have two right angles. Okay. So if I get my highlighter out here, we have this right angle triangle. Everybody see that? And then we have this right angle triangle. Now, do you see if we took the blue big triangle and subtracted the little yellow triangle, I'm talking the bottoms, we would be left with our D right here, our distance. Okay? Because the blue, let's just look at the bottoms here. This blue right here minus this yellow, we would be left with this distance right here. Okay? So we've got, let's do the big, huge triangle. Let's do that base. We'll call that X. Okay? So if this is my X, I know this is my opposite, and this is my adjacent. Okay? So then I would be going tan. So I'm going to actually, where's my highlighter? Okay? I'm doing this big triangle here. This will help keep things straight for you. And what I'm trying to do is find this X. Okay? So if I have that X, I know this is 100, and I know this is 20. Okay? So tan theta equals opposite over adjacent. Tan 20 degrees equals the opposite is 100. Adjacent is X. Okay? These two will trade. So I'm going to go X equals 100 over tan 20 degrees. I will get x to equal 274.7477. Okay, now let's do the little yellow triangle. Okay, and let's find this x. This is still 100, and this is 40 degrees. So tan theta equals opposite over adjacent. Tan 40 degrees equals 100 over x. Remember, these two can trade. So x equals 100 over tan 40. And you get 119.173. Okay, now remember, oops, we should not have called that x. Let's call that y, so it's not so confusing here. Okay, so x is that big long one, y is this little one. So if we take x minus y, we should be left with our distance in between the two cars. So we take this minus this, and we will get 156 meters apart. Okay, here's your assignment. Let's go with the page 118, 3, 5, odd, 8, 9, 11, 14. Okay, so let's take off night. Let's do this homework right here. Okay, this will be in your book. Again, if you want to look over this a bit more, or just use the examples. Drawing the picture will be definitely the biggest challenge. But after that, they're pretty easy trig questions.